welcome to the Draft Brewery. Here we are looking at weeks 3 through 5 of the extended Pauper League through MagicGatheringStrat.com. And we're looking at what did I play. I lost week 2, and by my own standards, deemed that deck no longer good enough to play, so I gotta choose a new one, and if it wins, I'll keep playing it. If it loses, I will switch. So we lost with our white-black auras deck, and so I decided to play pretty much what I thought my favorite deck of this format would be. Now, I'm going to go over this version. This is my final version. This is my what would I play after week 6 version. There's only a few cards different here and there, but I'll go over a couple of the changes. The main goal of this deck is to build around Ghostly Flicker. So Ghostly Flicker lets you exile 2 artifacts, creatures, or lands to get infinite value with Archaeomancer. So the trick is to get either 2 Archaeomancers and 1 Ghostly Flicker. Will net you the Ghostly Flicker back, and will net you 1 free spell that you just get to recast, and it's like better than Snapcaster Mage because you don't have to exile the spell, you just get to recast it. Pretty awesome. So other sweet tricks are Archaeomancer plus Gatekeepers. So you get a Disfigure effect with Ubulsar, and you get gain 7 life with Ceruli, which just turns out to be just like a giant beating against real decks in the format that are trying to attack you. Just 7 life is an absurd amount. So the deck has a hard time getting to 4 mana a lot of the times, and you need a lot of guild gates to support these. So you're taking a bit of a hit playing guild gates instead of gain 1 life lands. But we do play 13 of them, 4 in all the Sultai colors, and then 1 extra for 13. One of the variation cards I used to play is Gate Creeper Vine to find one, but green is such a splash, it was unreliable, and it's just a bad card. It doesn't really do anything. You don't really want to draw it, except on turn 2 if you're landlight, and it's just kind of weak. So instead, we just have an extra white one in there because we do have white cards in our sideboard. So other cool Ghostly Flicker tricks are Prophetic Prism. Target Archaeomancer in a prism to draw a card. Sometimes you don't have, anything but 2 prisms in play, and so you'll end a turn, instant speed divination just to try to get ahead on cards. Other tricks are at the end of their opponent's draw step, you can hit them with a Ravenous Rats if they have 1 card in hand, or 2 Ravenous Rats if they have 2 cards in hand, and hope that they don't hit any instants to break up your chain, which is really sick. Other than that, that's about it. You pretty much can beat almost anything with those combos because the only problems would be flying creatures that are resilient to removal, because you can just block and flicker and have infinite flickering ability, or I guess chump block ability. I guess big giant creatures with trample would also be a problem too. We do have ways to interact with big giant creatures though. We have Murder, Victim of Night, Devour Flesh, a full play set because of hexproof creatures being very good, and we do have some dead weights. We do have a Deadly Recluse as well. There's just a green Doomblade, since Doomblade is not in this format, but we do want an ability to stop flying creatures that potentially have hexproof or something like that. Cremate is a bit of a special tech against mirrors. It's really just cycles, and the way that this deck works is because of your Flicker and Archaeomancer, having just 1 answer in the deck altogether can be really beneficial, because we could cast 5 Cremates in a game if we needed to, but if you don't have 1 in the deck, it can be really hard to beat an opposing Ghostly Flicker deck. Other things, just Anticipate is good for the curve. Just trying to dig for usually Ghostly Flicker or some other piece that we're missing and need. Forbidden Alky is pretty much an all-star in this deck. Better than Read the Bones because you can hold the mana open for it. You can flash it back for late game mega value. You can put creatures or spells in graveyard to be used later, and it just digs 4 cards like an Impulse. So really happy with Forbidden Alchemy, but you can't do nothing a lot of these turns against these decks. You got to do something and try to affect the board as much as you can, so you can't play infinite them. Mass the Components is another very good pure draw spell since Treasure Cruise is banned in this format. It's again kind of glutted on 4-drops with all of our mono value creatures, but Mass the Components is the one spell that if we could get it back with Archaeomancer once, that's probably it. Like, we probably are just way ahead at that point. Other than that, Deadweight's pretty key for, even though there's no combos with getting this card back in the deck. We're not playing any Auramancer's main or anything. They're pretty good 1-drop removal answer to aggressive creatures, which is super important when you have somebody comes into play tap lands. And then the last card that ties the deck together is Grey Purge. It pretty much ensures that we should never mill ourselves out. Should be able to get a ton of creatures back. If they counter it, then you should just play an Archaeomancer to get the Grey Purge back. And just, figure it out from there. Some flex slots that you'll see in some of the replays. Some of the replays I had 4 Deadweight, some of them I had 2 Anticipate, some of them I only had 1 Rat, some of them I didn't have Victim of Night main, some of them I did not have Deadly Recluse main, some of them I also played Mnemonic Wall as kind of like a 5th Archaeomancer. So yeah, as you can see, the deck varies a little bit. We've got 10 untapped lands. 4 Swamp, 4 Island, because we need both double black and double blue. The Prophetic Prism really helps with all these dual lands too. I really have never had a mana problem. Like I said before, I used to play Gatecreeper Vine, but don't think he's necessary. But I also used to only have 1 Radiant Fountain. I like 2 in the off chance scenario that we need to gain 4 life. If you have both of those in play, you can exile 2 lands to gain 4 life. Let's say if we don't have Ceruli Gatekeepers in play, and we are facing Lethal Burn. So yeah, this deck is super grindy, super fun. It takes a lot of clicking and a lot of thinking, but it's my favorite deck from Innistrad block by a lot. And so what else do we got here in the sideboard? The sideboard is actually interesting, and it's changed a lot over time. But the sideboard is like perfect, and some of the oddest things that you'll see is Ray of Revelation and Auramancer. And the key here is that it's common knowledge that if you played in Innistrad and played this deck, I actually won a tournament at Grand Prix Oakland when they did Standard Pauper tournament. There was a decent amount of people there, but the finals was the mirror match. They get the Bug Flicker mirror, and my sideboard plan just involved exactly this: 4 Curse of the Bloody Tome. I think I only ran 2 Ray of Revelation, but Hexproof is so much more of a thing now. And I thought about running 1 Auramancer, but I didn't think I would need it. But if people knew the plan for the sideboard games, I think they would do it. So basically, this deck can't win fast. It just can grind people out and kill their creatures, gain 1,000,000 life, and that's it. So I have no enchantments in the main deck either, so why would people board in enchantment hate, right? Unless they ran Keening Apparition. So the plan in the mirror would be bring in 4 Curse of the Bloody Tome and just try to aggro mill them out. And then if someone's trying to do that against me, though, then inevitably they're going to mill Ray of Revelation, which I can flash back for green mana, which I should have pretty easily, to stop their Curses of Bloody Tome. And then let's say they either mill my Curse of the Bloody Tome, or I create one and then they destroy it somehow. The Oromancer is there to get my curse back. And let's say they mill my Oromancer, well, I still have the Grave Purge to hopefully get my Oromancer back, right? And if they mill my Grave Purge, hopefully I have my Caramancer to get the Grave Purge back. So like, there's so many fun and interesting ways to deal with this control mirror, which is pretty interesting. So other than that, we just got a bunch of bullets, and these bullets are pretty key because I have no idea what this format is capable of, and I've never, played more than just these games really. So Essence Scatter I figure is pretty key in the mirror mode as well, stopping Archaeomancer and Grey Merchant and Gatekeepers and Oromancer seems pretty important from happening. And again, we don't need like a million of the answer. We just need one because we can get it back with Archaeomancer. Negate seems pretty important because it can stop Curse of the Bloody Tome, but it also can stop things like God's Willing, can stop things like Ghostly Flicker. Removal spells that would exile might be a problem. Things like Last Breath or Pillar of Light might be kind of annoying. So Negate seems like a better catch-all answer. I was running Dispel at one point, but it's a little narrow. I'd rather not get caught with the Dispel in my hand when they play like a turn 3 Curse of the Bloody Tome. So that's it. Curse is for the control mirror. Often, at least what I found so far, is I win game 1 with like taking up all the time in the world, and I have to win game 2 very, very, very quickly, and Curse is really the only way to do it. I don't think Jace's Erasure is legal, but if it was, Curse is still probably a little bit better because there's not that much card draws, Brainstorm and stuff. Shrivel might be a little bit wasted on this format. I really haven't seen anybody playing any token deck, but I bet a token deck would be really good. But Shrivel is pretty necessary against if there would be a deck like that. Crypt Incursion, again, great for the mirror, great for decks that are trying to recur creatures somehow. I guess the only decks that do that are like Oromancer decks or Grave Purge decks. So I still think it's necessary as a 1-of because it's super powerful and can break the game, especially if they're playing the black font as well, maybe a mono black deck. And Plummet. Plummet's actually a really sick spell because flyers can be such a problem. So I like Plummet, Deadly Recluse, Victim of Night, Deadweight, a Murder, and the Ubelsaw Gatekeepers. It's actually a good amount of removal, especially when you realize that the Flicker equals more removal spells too if we need them. You just gotta draw them and you just gotta see them. So yeah, this deck is fun, and really hope we can go over some fun, interesting games in the upcoming replays. Okay, stay tuned.